Hi guys, Mike Izzy here again with another exciting tutorial. In this tutorial, let's learn how we can create and rig a 360-degree body turn. Do like and subscribe to this channel for more exciting tutorial. Okay guys, let's look at how we can make a successful body turn. Okay, so a body turn that is very realistic. Okay, so let me start a new file. To make a very successful body turn, there are three things that you need to take note of. We have explained this in our previous videos. All right, three principles that every body turn or head turn builds on is, first of all, your understanding of bones, two, your understanding of actions, three, your understanding of masking, and four, your understanding of animated layer ordering. All right, so if you understood how these four things work, added to, of course, other other tools and procedures in Moho, but these four are the four most important ones that you need to take note of. Okay, so we're going to be working on that. So first thing we'll do is simply open a new file, a new empty file. All right, so this from here, I'll put this inside the group, and then I'll call this my body. Alright, so for this body, I'll convert it to a bone, and then I'll enable animated from depth sort animated layer order. Okay, so here I'll fix this into a bone as well, and then I'll call this my torso, and then inside the torso I'll call this my body mask. Okay, and then for this torso I'll enable masking. Alright, so on this body mask, let's make a correction to this body mask, I'll create a simple shape. Alright, so this is going to be my my torso, like the body. So I'll just go ahead to add some points and make it look like it's a body part. So I'll extrude this out. These two things are going to be my shoulders. Okay, so I'm going to increase this as well. Right, so they're going to be my shoulder sockets. Then I'll pull this out a little. Okay, good. Next, let's add some bones to control the body. So I'll add a pin bone here. This is going to be my base bone. Then I'll add points both from here to here. Alright, so at these shoulders, I'll add a pin bone. I also select this, add a pin bone there. Okay, and then on this pin bone, I'll add two bones that will control the arm. On this pin bone, I'll add two bones to control the other arm. Okay, so that's it. Next, let's do some binding. I'm going to add a point here. Alright, so I'm going to select this bone, select the bind point to select just this point here, then click bind point. Next, I'll select this bone, hit the I on my keyboard to select this tool here, then enter to bind. Select this bone, hit I on my keyboard and select all the bones here. hit enter to select. Right, so now I'm going to select all the bones and reduce this to 0 because we're not making use of the bone strength, to reduce all of them to 0. Okay, so on top of the torso we're going to add a few layers. Here we'll call this our left hand. Right, so on the left hand we'll add shape to control the hand. Okay, so this is going to be our left hand. Alright, so I'll just add a point here. Okay, so I'll select these points, then increase this. Right, so I want the pivot of the hand. The reason why I added these pin bones here is so that so I could take note of where the pivot is. Okay, so on this bone I'm going to add a pin bone as well, so I can use it to mark the pivots. So I'll do the same here. Select this, push it in, then I'll add a point, pull it down below the pivot, use the curvature tool to push it up so that it's at the same, just to take note of the pivot. Same here, I think I'll have to push this down, then use the curvature tool to align this properly. Okay, so that's it for that. Then I'm going to copy this, do a copy and paste, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, that's what I pushed on my keyboard. So now I have the lower part of the arm. Okay, so let's do a bone binding. Let's bind some points. Okay, so this bone will be bounded to this upper part. So I'll select every part and then click bind points. Select this bone, select the bind points to click to select all the points on the lower arm, then click bind points. Right, so let's test and see if it's working. Everything is working fine. Let's see. Alright, so you can see our hand is bound and then the other part is bound, is well bounded as well. Okay, that's just what we want. Alright, so I'm just going to make a duplicate of this and call this my right hand. Alright, so I'll select all the points and move them all the way to this side. Oops, that should be on point 0. Move them all the way to this side. I think I'll have to push this in a little. Push this in a little, and then to this bone I'm going to add a pin bone. Alright, so it seems I'll have to push this up a little. Then I can add my pin bone once again. I want want this pin bone to be positioned just somewhere here. Okay, so that this will have to come down, and then this has to come down as well. Okay, so I'll do my binding once again. Select this bone and select all the points here. Select all the points here, and then select all the points, and then bind points. Same thing goes for this. Select the bone, select all the points, and then bind points. Okay, so let's test our rig once again. Always ensure to test, make sure everything is working fine. Okay, so as you can see, our rig is fine. The body tongue, the rotation of the body is fine as well. Okay, so let's select all the bone, then remove the bone strength, set it to 0. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is, now we want to add some smart bones that will control this action, that will control the body rotation, because so let's add the bone that will be controlling the body tone. So let's add the bone. So of course I'll select this middle bone here, then I'll add the bone, and then this bone I'll name it body tone. Alright, so the next thing we'll do is to, after we named it the body tone, is to make smart bone dial. Right, this time we want it to be 180 by 180. So we want a 360-degree body tone. Okay. Let's return this bone back to 270. For the first body turn, we have a 180-degree rotation. For the second body turn, we also have a 180-degree body rotation. Okay, 180 on both sides. Right, so the first thing I want us to do is, let's set the origin for these bones. So let's click away. The origin for the body parts, since we're going to be doing a lot of body flipping, let's set origins for this body part. So first of all, for the entire body, I'm going to add a pin bone to this center. Right, so this pin bone indicates the center for rotation, like the center of rotation for the entire body. Alright, so on this, so the origin for this body, I'll set the origin to be the same as the center of this bone. Okay. The origin for this body mask will also be the center at the center here. The origin for the torso will also be for the center. Okay, so let's get back to the body rotation. So for the first body rotation, this bone is supposed to be parented. Parented to this bone. Okay. So for the first body rotation, what exactly we want to achieve is, for the hands, we want these hands to change. So we want this particular hand to move from here. The 96 frame, we want it to move from here to here, from this point to this point. Okay, so we can use the Y controls here. So you can see we can move it from one point to another, right? So in order for us to be accurate, we're going to just add a negative sign here. Are you seeing it? Okay, let's complete it. I think I'm not sure it's complete. Okay, so we have the hand moving from this point to this point. Alright, so the movement is on the pivot bone, not on the long bone, but on this pivot bone here. So from here to here. Okay, so the same movement that we have here, we're going to copy it. Copy. And then for this other bone, we'll place it here. Then we'll copy and paste the other keyframe as we had earlier, and then remove the negative sign. Hope you can see what's happening here. Okay, so we simply just switched the position for these bones. Let me start afresh in case if it's confusing. So from here, we'll move this bone, move it to be at the same position with this bone. Alright, and then for this other one, at this point we want to change its position to where this other bone left. Okay, alright, so that at the middle the two bones will meet at the same point. The both of them are supposed to meet at the same point. Okay, so on frame 1, since we are turning this way, oops, I had an issue with this. Okay, so let's return this. Since we are turning this way to face this side, this hand is supposed to go behind. Okay, so which hand is that? The right hand will go below the torso. Or the torso should come somewhere here. Okay, so what happened is the right hand will come below the torso on frame 1. Are you seeing it? The left hand remains above. So that if we are turning now, the left hand is going, the right hand is going beneath, and then on the 96th frame we would have both hands come below the torso. Alright, so they are above, and then here they are below. Right, so somewhere here we'll now work on this torso. Right, so we'll just push this back in, push this in. I'll use my X, my magnetic tool, and then maybe we can just push this in so it looks like as if it's a stomach. Then of course we'll move these guys. Push them in a little. Okay, so at this point we select and reset. So that's how we get our body turn. So these parts, I think we'll still have to push them in at this frame. before we reset. Move it back a little so that so we just copy this keyframe and paste it right here. Right, so that's how we achieve a body tone. Alright, so work on the other side as well. For this side, we'll still move these bones, this particular bone. I'll move this bone in. Okay, and the other bone for the other arm, we'll move her as well. Okay, so that's it. So for this other body tone, on frame 1, we'll move the left hand, torso come in between. Alright, so the left hand is now behind, and then somewhere here, the both of them will be behind. Left and the right hand will be behind. Okay, and then we can, for the torso, we can repeat the same thing we did for the other parts, or to make it much easier for us, we'll just on frame 1 we'll just use the manipulate layer tool and flip this. Okay, so we have a flip, and then we'll copy the keyframes for this torso body, copy the keyframes, and then paste it here. Go to frame 1 and paste the same keyframes so that we will not have to repeat. Oops, didn't copy. Keyframe for the body, copy, then for the body as well, the other side we paste these keyframes here. Just hit Ctrl V to paste. So you see we have the rotation on both sides. But I think there's an issue with our body center, so I think we'll have to move it a little to this side. It's not well centralized. It's too much to this side. So I think it's okay now. So we have a perfect body tone. Alright, so it's on these principles that we can now start building upon. Okay, so if I want to do a cleanup, so maybe we can go on and start cleaning these up. These hands, I want to use the hide points to hide these points. Hide this, alter, right click, hide this. Alright, so on this mask, body mask, I can now start adding my cloth. Right, so I can call this my clothes, and then on this cloth I can add a vector. Whatever vector I'm adding will definitely be masked into the previous one. Just get a red shirt. A blue shirt. Okay, So this is now, so we can start, adding points to make it look like okay. And then maybe you can scale this out so nobody notices. Then see if we have our body tone. So if you have a body tone, see it's still, your clothes stays, alright? And whatever direction the body turns, you can still have your hands moving as well. You see? So if you have a straight hand, the hands are facing up. See, the body tone is also very much applicable. Right, so if you're working on your own character, you can now go in and start making modification to the body shape, to the body structure, to look exactly like what you want. So in the next tutorial, we'll look at how we can create the tone for the legs as well.